So I created a very extensive to-do list for everything that I need to move Betty into this van. This is not my first time attempting to acclimate Betty into a vehicle. My last van we tried and it did not go as well as I hoped it would.
She loved making biscuits all night, and her favorite spot was my kitchen sink, interestingly enough. She really loved it there. Every time I think she'd be ready to go to bed, she would wake me up to pet her over and over again all night long. Last time it was every hour. This time it was only every few hours. So I mean progress, right? As soon as morning came though, she kept going into her box meowing for me to take her inside.
So I'm taking that experience, taking mental notes, see what I learned from it, and trying to make sure that everything goes perfectly for her, because I feel like there's one shot to reintroduce her to the new van, to make her feel comfortable in here and to let her know that this is also her space. Hopefully I can get her moved in and tonight will be her first night sleeping in the van. I have a lot to set up, so let's get started.
I started by plugging my van into charge since I only have 20% battery, which will not be enough for the few days that I want to have Betty in the van. And then I finished installing my Cruise and Comfort Icebox 12-volt under-mount air conditioner. I really do believe that I picked like the best AC system there is out there. It's efficient, stealth, and it saved room on my roof. It pulls on average 55 amps when running, and it has a cooling capacity of 10,000 BTUs, and it averages about 45 decibels on low and 75 decibels when on high.
So the third and final cabinet is housing for my air conditioning system, and this is a Cruise and Comfort Icebox. And the reason I chose this one was because the dual fan system is mounted underneath the vehicle. That way my van can stay more stealth instead of having like a huge AC on my roof. And I also can save space to be able to eventually have a roof deck. So to me, that alone was a huge seller, but it's also 12 volt and very efficient. So that was very important.
For my heater, I went with the VanLife Tech heated floors, which I hear cats love to sleep on the heated floors. And it also has 3 times the heating capacity of my last van's Webasto heater at 23,000 BTUs. I just think the heating and cooling systems in my van were so important to keeping Betty safe while she's living in here. Next, I set up her litter box, which I actually ended up changing so much about this after this test weekend with Betty. The first thing that I changed was going from this litter to pine pellets, so now there's way less litter tracking in the van. I also had to recut the entrance hole on this box because she refused to go in here at all weekend. But once I cut the hole 2 inches bigger, she was fine. I also had to take this inside the house and have her get used to it in a safe environment first. I think at the time she was just kind of scared to go into a box she didn't know enough about. But when it was in the house, she went right in, and now she actually uses it more than her usual house litter box. I also got rid of the bag I had around the litter in the litter box itself that was meant to just make cleaning easier, because her nails kept getting caught in it, which I knew she didn't like.
So the first thing I want to install in the van is a scratch mat. I bought 2 different ones. This is left over from inside the litter box. I wanted her to be able to scratch her claws and have the litter be able to have something to grip to. This was the one that I originally bought for the van because it's the Mona Lisa holding a cat, but I don't know that I want to commit to hanging this on the wall, so I might just go for the plain boring one and be that person. It's just going to blend so well into the wall in here, and it's peel and stick on the back, and hopefully it will last a while, so let's get this installed.
While this was peel and stick, I actually needed to go back and screw this in or use a nail gun, because as soon as she tried using it, it just started peeling right off the walls as it was not strong enough on its own.
This blends in so well you can't even see it. So the next addition that I have is a car seat cover for pets. Cats are known to scratch, and I really don't want her to scratch my seats. So now I can just lay this over the seat and it should be scratch proof. So hopefully I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get the seats replaced ever. Next I have this pet alert sticker I'm thinking about putting up at the front, because if I ever get in an accident and they don't realize there's a cat there, I'd want them to know. But I'm also concerned about putting a sign about having a pet in the, I don't know. So I haven't decided 100% on this yet. But I am 100% going to install a carbon monoxide alarm right now. It's funny how when it's just me, I don't really care if I get hurt, but when it's Betty, I'm like, everything will be safe. Shout out to VanLife Tech, the company that installed my heated floors, for giving me this included with the floor, which was very nice. Ow. Well, no one's sleeping through that, that's for sure. How ugly is that to mount on the wall? I feel like mounting it in a cabinet is not a good choice. I could mount it on that side of the cabinet. I wouldn't mind that. That's where it's going. All right, I think next I'm going to set up her food and water, which I do have a plan for, but it's built into my idea for my kitchen unit, and I obviously haven't built my kitchen unit yet, so for now I'm just kind of gonna have it sitting out, but that's the best I can do for now. Also, if your cat's not drinking a lot and you don't know how to get them to drink, I was having that issue, and then I got her this electric water fountain, and now she drinks so much, so that was the solution that I found. Also, my van's on a tilt, so the water is not evenly coming out of the fountain. I had not thought through that problem. I've never heard anyone mention that issue, but now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, of course that was gonna happen.
Hi, it's me from the future, and I have now built 3/4 of my kitchen unit, and I think I came up with the most brilliant cat water dish solution. So usually people have to move or unplug their water dishes every single time they drive, which is super annoying, but I got this Bluetooth on and off fob clicker switch thing that just plugs into the water dish USB plug. So from the front seat or anywhere in the van, when I go to turn the car on, I can just turn the water dish off at the same time. And then the water should hopefully all go back into the filter hole if I'm not parked on too much of an angle, and then I won't have to ever worry about moving it or emptying it, and it just holds enough water to last a long time, so I think this was a great solution. Something else I'm doing is installing a water filter directly into my water system, thanks to the sponsor of this video, Waterdrop. And something else I'll be adding in this van build is this Waterdrop water filtration system. That way all of the water that I'm feeding in from my water jugs is healthy and drinkable, which I never had in my last van build, so I'm really happy about this. That way also as well, when I put water in my cat's dish, I know that what she's drinking is going to be very healthy. This is the Waterdrop 10UA-UF0.01 Ultra Filtration Under Sink Water Filter for bacteria reduction. It reduces lead, chlorine, bad taste, odor, and more. It has an activated carbon block, and one of the best parts is it does not require any electricity to work, which is perfect for van life. The install process barely added 3 minutes to the typical water system install process, and it even included the fittings I needed and extra plumber's tape. It also takes literally seconds to replace the water filter, and the typical service life is 12 months or 11,000 gallons, which I'm thinking for me might be longer because I don't think I even went through 11,000 gallons of water in my 5 years living in my last van at all, just because I use such little water in here. I usually refill my water tank from Planet Fitness sink water, so yeah, I really think this was a smart move for me, and I don't have to store a big bulky water filter in my tiny fridge or anywhere else, or ever have to worry about refilling it or waiting for it to filter. It's just super easy and fast. It's also great at stopping secondary contamination, which is that even if I did perfectly filter all of the water when putting it into my tanks, it's still sitting and being stored for a long period of time, and the water can become contaminated in that time from things like microbial regrowth and biofilm formation or cross-contamination from chemicals leaching from hoses and pipes and more. So this is really helpful no matter where you get your water from, because it's filtering your water right before you use it. Also, a replacement filter costs just $26 on Amazon right now, so if you want to learn more, check out the description and I'll leave all of the links below.
Next, I will be reinstalling my Connecten Internet. I actually used this my entire trip to Canada when I went up to see Taylor Swift and explore Toronto and Niagara Falls. But I hadn't found it really necessary in between, but I'm about to try it again, and I really need it when Betty's in the van. That's when it's most important, so I can use it to check what's going on when I'm not at the van. And I already know the DC cord really does not pull a lot of power, which is great. I'm glad that I already tested this out and that I already like it, otherwise I'd feel a little worried. Alright, 5-minute install. Now she's ready to go. Alright, internet is set up. Next is her tracker. So the tracker I went with is called Tractive Cat Mini. I wanted as light and small as possible because she's very picky and doesn't like to be weighed down. Also, Apple AirTags only work if they're within a certain distance from an iPhone. They work GPS locations based on iPhones. I also thought about going with Tile because this only works if you have service or internet, and a Tile works off Bluetooth. However, it only works so far. But a Tile you can also like press and it will beep, so you can hear the beep and then follow where the beep is. So there's pros and cons, and I've seen, I don't remember who, but they had both the Tractive and the Tile on their cat's leash. But for right now, we're gonna stick with just this. But I also need to buy the subscription, which is like a 1-year minimum subscription for like $100, I think, which is painful. I hear that one of the biggest complaints is the charging time, that they don't last that long, but it said like 5 to 7 days. I didn't see a lot of options, so this is what we have. Oh look, surprise, surprise, they're making you get their app. Hate having to get more apps. Create an account. So while that charges, I'm going to work on setting up the Waggle pet temperature monitor and the Waggle RV cam. I have 2 of these. And I got 2 because one's from my mom's RV for the dog and one's for Betty the cat. And I just haven't decided which one I want in my van and which one for the RV. But I think even though I like this one better because you can throw treats out of it and it sings a little song, which is so cute. I want to be able to give her treats if I'm gone for a while. But this one's just so much smaller, and in this small space, I think I'm going to need this one, and this is just going to be better for the larger RV. So I think Coda is going to luck out and be able to get some treats. I'm so sorry, Betty. These also have a subscription, so I'm sure I'm about to spend another $100, but you're worth it, Betty. You're worth it. You know, it could be worth, I could have like 5 kids. That would be more expensive. A big reason I like this as well is it is DC charging / plug-in, so it's going to save a lot of power that way. Hear me out. Right here. Not the prettiest thing. Takes away the aesthetic. Maybe I can paint it gold, but I will need something to hold it down. Or I could even just put it up whenever I leave the van and need to wash her. Alright, and next is finding a spot for the pet temperature monitor. I think I want to also put it on the other side of the cabinet, so I'm going to wait until I paint that and just leave it on the counter for now. Oh my goodness, we're getting close. I'm like nervous to bring her in here. I want everything to go so perfectly. So those are all of the big things that I have for Betty in the van, and then I have a lot of small things like a small USB like charged fan I can put wherever she is if it gets hot. I also bought her a cooling mat, but it won't be here until tomorrow. Some food, some treats, her little treat jar and her favorite kind of treats. I also have dental treats that make her breath smell better. Also, if you haven't watched my previous videos, this right here is a cubby for Betty that she can kind of hide away in and have her own space that I won't ever go in. I want her to have a safe space, and that's what that spot is for specifically. I bought a comb brush specifically to help with shedding because I know it's going to be a huge deal in here. I bought a bunch more lint rollers. And I also got this anxiety vest, and I was going to put it on her, but I've been harness training her, and so I don't want to put too many things on her, and then it's just going to give her more anxiety. But this had incredible reviews for helping with cats' anxiety. I'm not going to use it yet, so it's nice to have in my repertoire. I also have sprays for her anxiety and collars for her anxiety. I bought these treats for her anxiety, but she didn't eat them, no matter what I put them on, so they must not be very good.
So another update from the future, the spray I had didn't seem to be doing very much, and I didn't want to put an additional collar on her to use the calming collar when she already is uncomfortable in the harness. So I decided to upgrade and try these calming diffusers and calming pop patches from Pawith. I like the diffuser because it doesn't need to be plugged in to work, which is huge since we're in a van with limited power and outlets. It's effective for up to 21 days and can attach right to her carriage carrier. These both mimic a cat's natural scent signals to help them believe they're in a safe situation, and also helps reduce tension and aggression for them. And the calming pop patch is a smaller version of that, which I plan on putting in areas like her hideouts, but even better, I can stick it right to her harness so the smell follows her around wherever she goes, and it lasts up to 48 hours per patch and just starts working immediately. And they both work really well for van life specific situations.
Food and water setup, tracker setup, camera setup. I want to spray the van in the calming spray before she gets out here, just to kind of help the atmosphere. Also, there was a lot of ways I've been working with Betty to prepare her for this. So one of the ways was harness training, having her wear the harness just around the house, getting comfortable in it, leaving her in it for a few days in the house. I started putting her new crate, which is really more like a stroller, like baby carriage kind of thing. I started having it in the house and putting treats in it, and I give her treats in there, and now she just kind of lays in it and treats it like any other like cardboard house she has. But that's going to be not only her car seat that buckles up in the front, but also any way that I can transport her. It also fits on a stroller. I'm going to show you that whole thing, but that was some training I did beforehand as well. Anything in the van build that I did, like the air conditioner, that was number one for her. I didn't put an air conditioner in my old van, and that's why I didn't think she was really going to be able to live there. But I went the extra mile, spent the money, and got a really good air conditioner this time for her. I moved her medical records in the van, so she has that just in case. Also, about 2 days ago, we got her nails cut. She does not let me do it myself, so I have to take her somewhere to cut her nails. So I did that 2 days ago, gave her some time to rest and get over that anxiety because she does not fare well with that. So she's had that, experienced that, has no nails to scratch me with when I try to get her in this van, get her into the new carriage, do all these different things because she's a feisty one. She's a very feisty cat. All right, I think I just want to clean this up. I'm going to go inside and use the really nice grooming brush and try to get as much hair off of her as possible before she gets in here. And then I think it might be time. It might be time for Betty to come in the van. It feels emotional because I've been working at this for so long, and I miss her whenever I'm on the road without her, so it's nice to finally be here and be at this moment. So I'm crossing my fingers it all goes really well. So the treat container overflowing actually gave me a great idea, and I'm gonna take some treats and just hide them around the van in all the spots that are meant just for her. I kind of did this when trying to get her to like her little crate carriage thing, and now she loves it. So maybe if I just put treats in spots, she'll learn to like them, or if I put some like near the litter box and near her food, she'll experiment and see where things are by finding the treats. She's very treat motivated. She gets it from her mom. All right, some in her treat bowl. Outside of the litter box, I'm not being gross. She's gonna get too many treats today, and you know what, she deserves it, so it's fine. Good morning. Can I brush you a little? Does that feel good? Dang. This is the best dish shedding brush I've ever used. Come here, sweetie. You just want love. You can do that. Oh, for treats. Where do we go? Oh, I'm so excited. Safe. You see the treats? All your favorite toys. Last time she went right to the best hiding spots. Why don't I keep this closed and you can stay in there if you want to feel safe, okay? You can come out whenever you're ready. I shouldn't have blocked that. Come here. Do you like it? I worked so hard on it for you, girl. Come here. Yeah.
Yeah. Here. Uh-huh. Come here, Betty. Betty. Did you just hiss at me? You're scared. It's okay. She did eventually come up on the bed and let me pet her and explored the bed area, and I just left her alone unless she came to me. I just kept it in my head that I wanted to pet her so much today and just make her think that the van is where she gets unlimited attention and pets and good food and whatever she wants. That way she wants to be in here all the time. But I think what she really needed the most, I learned, was just space away from me or any noise or any movement, because she explored the most when I wasn't in the van, and then every time I came back she was more and more confident. And so even though I felt guilty leaving her, it actually was probably for the best when I was away from the van for a bit. In the old van, she used to signal to me that she wanted to go back in the house by going in her crate and just meowing up a storm and like yelling basically at me. She would, in the middle of the night, she'd wake up and just start tapping me and meowing, and then she'd go and sit in her crate screaming until I let her in, really. I eventually gave up, and that was definitely a big mistake, and that was doing what she told me when she told me to do it and teaching her that she's in charge. But she's just so cute. I'm not good at saying no to her. But this time, I am not giving in no matter how much she meows or tries to tell me to do what she wants. This is her home now, and a lot of the comments on the last video about my cat said that that was the biggest mistake, was I needed to just have her in the van, keep her in the van, and let her know this is her new home. And over time, she would have just gotten used to it and accepted it, so that is the plan for now. So I'm just gonna get some work done. It looks like she's chilling out in her little cozy hut. I'm glad I did the pre-work to get her comfortable in there and to feel like it was her own home and safe space, because it seems like that's what she's using it as right now. I love you. Yeah? Uh-huh. I know. Oh, they're all stuck. Yeah? Do you want dinner? Is that okay? Ready? My sister tells me that I have to not crowd her or obsess over her or do whatever she wants whenever she wants me to, but that is really, really hard for me because I love her so much and I just want her to be happy more than anything in the whole world. But she really, truly does ignore you if you try to give her attention and then beg for attention if you ignore her. She's a special one, that's for sure. You put it right here, okay? Mom has to go inside for 1 second. She forgot something, okay? So this is where I learned that Betty is 100 times more confident exploring the van and eating when she's alone. I felt really bad leaving her alone, but ends up it definitely is something that I should have been doing more often, just to help her get more confident and comfortable, even though I never would have guessed that. Hi, Betty. This is actually one of the worst nights I could have picked to do this, only because it started raining, and I remember in the last van the sound of rain and thunder and lightning really scared her. So I can't take her in. If I give in and it's only like a 3-hour spur, it's not gonna help. So all right, Betty and I are gonna get ready for bed. Are you excited? No, she's not. I want to make dinner. I'm just, whenever I move or talk too much, she gets scared or upset or annoyed. These aren't Betty treats. You've gotten so many treats, girl. How about some Chef Boyardee? So I never left my parents' driveway on this first night with her in the van, But tomorrow we have a very big day planned where she is going to go on her very first van adventure. The plan is that I can try to replicate just simple van days for Betty, and she can start to learn what life is really going to be like. That way she can get more comfortable and I can continue to learn and adapt to what changes she needs as I finish the rest of the van build. Looking back, I'm so glad that I did this because so many changes were made that helped me figure out what I want to do with the rest of this van build. I even decided to get a hook to attach her harness to a leash in the van. The most difficult thing about cats is there is literally no harness that can hold them if they get behind it. So I really need to keep an eye on her at all times. I would say the most important and best part of the van for keeping Betty safe though is the partition door, because now when I open the front doors, she can never just slip out from under my feet since there's another door between us whenever I enter or exit the van. Betty did really well this first day. She didn't wake me up at all night long, which is a huge improvement on the last time she was in the van. She definitely was anxious, but she behaved really well and it gave me really high hopes for how this transition is going to go long term. In part 2 of this video, I test out the carriage carrier as a car seat and discover she likes to try to jump out of it even though she is harnessed in. I also test out the video camera and internet connection while my mom and I do a 5K at a winery and just give Betty some more space to explore. I try using the tracker on her harness and we run into some issues with the litter box and just continue to explore this new element of van life with Betty that is a little complicated but so worth it, and I just can't wait to explore the world with her.